All right, in La Quisha Laquina, everybody. I'm so excited to have Dina Fortune on Portal Mística once again. And we're going to dive into dragons and what it means when you start seeing dragons and you start feeling their energy, or all of a sudden on Instagram or on your social feeds, dragons just start popping up. And the collective is really waking up. And we have Dina Fortune, which is not only channels dragons. She does light language. She does art through the dragons as well. And she's going to fill us in all of this great knowledge. And she's just a treasure trove of information. So we're going to just go ahead and dive deep. And so, welcome, Dina, once again to Portal Místico. I'm so excited that we're doing this again.
I know, B. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be back
Absolutely. So let's talk
in the dragon.
dragons, because I don't know, many of you, I have felt dragons more powerful in the last 5 years than before. So I feel, as I mentioned earlier, that the collective is really waking up to this amazing new energy, and the dragons are such ascended, beautiful, light star seed beings that have been through and with Earth for eons, and they're not what we're accustomed to dragons, right, from the movies and just tales of destruction. But so I want to elevate us a little bit about what dragons are. So tell us your story.
My story is when I was going through a pretty interesting time of healing on the way to work. I was driving, and interesting enough, I was going through a lot of like reset and learning about light language, and I was driving to work and I look up and there's this giant dragon that was like the clouds all came together to create this dragon that took up so much of the sky. And
Wow.
wait, what? And I, right after work, I was like, I said nothing to anyone. Because, like, did I just see a dragon? The story goes that right after I went to the store that was nearby that I would get Reiki sessions, and right when I walked in, there was this Diana Cooper's Dragon deck right there. It was like, woof. And so I started to connect with the dragons, with the cards, and my husband was like, Tina, you can channel dragons. Like, don't read the description. Like, don't open the book like that. And I'm like, I started to. And I started to share it with friends and bring in the light language. And I started to have these really unique events where one of them was I was at a breathwork event. It was breathwork and then dance. And I was at the place where I had received this healing experience. Anyway, while I was there, I called in my dragons and I asked them to be with me. And then they started speaking to me and saying things like, you are the universe, and the universe is you. And they were telling me how they were there with me, and I felt their warmth and I felt their comfort, and they were talking to me psychically. And for a moment, I was like, is this really happening here? Or am I making this up? Am I imagining this? But fast forward, I mean, it was a real experience. It was full and not what I was expecting at that time. And turned out I was starting to speak light language, and I spoke some light language with the woman who was running it, and she revealed to me that she'd been speaking light language all the time that I knew her, and I had no idea. Dragon, the dragon light language. Then got connected with another woman gave me some channelings that told me that I was here. They invited me to be initiated to work with them, and that my mission was to anchor the dragon energy through my art, through my light language, through doing videos of sharing this experience and bringing this energy down through. That became the beginning of my life of what does it mean to anchor the dragon energy.
Wow, what a beautiful story. That step into that, especially if you haven't really been in maybe the metaphysical world or now they're calling it, spiritual modalities or metaphysics, it's intimidating because when I first had my download 5 years ago, which we've discussed, but I can discuss it. I had this vision of dragons, and it was a portal of dragons, and they said you're the mother of the dragon of the ethereal realm. And I thought for a moment, I was like, okay, I think this is a little woo woo, and this is making things up in my head. But then I went into meditation and I got a very strong feel that no, that the dragons have chosen to speak and I must be ready. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had that vision. And the vision, I've spoken about it pretty candidly. It was pretty vivid. I think it's one of the most intense visions that I've had in my 34 years of channeling and being a medium and for it. So they are speaking with us. They are coming in. And I think the reason I got this in meditation, the reason why they're popping up all over is because the collective is more accepting of the idea, number one, and more people are starting to realize that these are almost celestial beings, I want to say, star seed,
Yeah,
the dragon
the
fender
Dragon Thunder Summit.
summit 3 times now, and there are hundreds of channelers that are communicating with dragons. And I think that there's ripple effect of dragon consciousness seeping in through humanity, and we're waking up. And talking about Diana Cooper, my mom just ordered the deck, and I just arrived, and it was just sitting on the table in the kitchen. So how serendipitous is that?
So that is definitely serendipitous. And I have a whole thing of dragons over here, a circle of dragons. And they're all surrounding one painting and they're all like sending energy into this one painting. And I don't normally do that, but it right here. But the thing is that dragon, like I never noticed the dragon deck at his store before this person, by the way. And I do feel like everything started to converge. It was like one of my most impactful memories of this journey was the very first session that I had with Brandy because I was on my way home from that breathwork ceremony, and Annie, the woman who had done this reconnection healing on me, which is when I really started to connect with my higher self. In the second, it was a two-part session, and I won it. I won this session.
Oh,
I
wow.
didn't have to pay for it. Yeah. In the two sessions that I was with her, she never mentioned to me anything about her connection with dragons. And then here I was months later, um, at her place for this breathwork and ecstatic dance event. But I want to rewind to the fact that at the second session that I went to, on my way there, I was listening to a podcast interview of this podcast. I can't remember her name, but she was interviewing Kyra. And Kyra wrote this book called, and and in the beginning of the book, she talks about the 777 dragons. And basically, I started getting introduced to the dragons through this book. And what's weird is because time is not linear and it's non-linear, that I can't remember which happened first. I think the session and being open to receiving that reconnection healing to reconnect with my higher self, and then that opened the door for the dragons to come in. And when I listened to her, she was talking about the dragons and then I saw the dragon and it was white in the sky. And I noted it 222 on February 2nd of whatever year that was. I think it was 2019.
Oh, wow. So
So
yeah, it's
divinely aligned.
yeah, it's all aligning, and we're all moving forward, and we're all finding our way and finding our voice. I know that we're doing lives. So for anybody that loves the dragon energy, Dina and I have decided to do lives every 2 to 3 weeks. We're really excited about it. We're live on Instagram on Dina Soli, And it's a great way. It's just short, 30 minutes. We pop in, we get whatever the messages are. We did the 1111 portal, and tonight we're having another live, and let's see what, so we're channeling the dragons live, which is super magical and very powerful. So for all you dragon lovers, stay tuned to Dina Soli or Akashic Insight. But I wanted to circle back about, at the beginning, how for those that are listening that want to connect with their dragons, let's talk a little bit about how you can do readings and help them. You can connect with the people's readings, the people's dragons, and give them messages to help them understand a little bit about what type of dragons are working with them, or what is the theme of the dragons that they want to talk to the person that wants to get the reading. Just a little bit about that.
I've started doing it in this way that it's like a shamanic journey, and I bring them through a way into a space where they can most connect with the dragon energy. And many a times it's where I take them into it's through a guided visualization, and I call in their dragons, I call in my dragons, I call in their higher self, my higher self, and I basically start the connection as like a higher self to higher self connection, and then a dragon higher self to dragon higher. So I take them through this guided meditation. They can visualize that they're in this space. Usually, for some reason, I've been this kind of like a helper, gatekeeper in the opening and bringing that divine masculine as well as divine feminine. And so, what I do is I channel their dragons and I invite them to experience, see, sense their dragons. And then I will channel messages from their dragons and then also give them, it's more of a shamanic usually than a reading, but sometimes I will work with the oracle decks, the oracle cards, and I will I will channel messages from their dragons based on what cards I pull for them. But in the shamanic journey, then I'll also help to describe what I'm seeing, but I also create a space for them to open up their senses, and I do some energy clearing and activation so that they can see and sense them and feel them even more deeply than they were before. And then there's usually a space for them to connect, for them to perceive their dragons in the way that they're meant to I'm basically holding the space to support the connection.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Dragons will reach out in so many different types. So let's talk about the different types, because this is the real fun part. We have the elemental dragons, we have the Pleiadian dragons, we have all the celestial dragons as well, the star dragons, the crystal dragons, or we have water dragons. Or which dragons are you most affiliated or working with at this moment?
The violet flame dragons, the Lemurian dragons, the dragon fae, which is a combination of the dragon and the fairy. And feeling into the blue rose. There's the blue rose dragons that have been with me for a while, and the rose dragons and the water dragons, and are like my core. And then there became this collective of dragons that I call them the Devon, and it's like they're a collective of dragons that is connected with me. It's almost like I'm part dragon and living in a human body, but it's a dragon consciousness, and they're a combination of different dragon consciousnesses all coming together.
Right. And I've been
So
reading a lot. So there is a code that you can call in and invoke. You can look it up in social media as well. There's a couple meditations, but the number to invoke the dragon energy and to kind of connect and kind of set that quantum energy into motion is 13 31 989. So for all of those that are into quantum numbers and you want to connect through your dragons through quantum numbers, that is also another way. So that number again is 13 31 989. And like rabbit boy numbers, you can repeat them up to 40 or 45 times, as many times during the day. And another way, I think, I had a question. Stanley here has a question for us because I had posted that we were going to be doing this interview. He said, by just setting an intention, will the dragons hear me? And absolutely, as long as you drop into your heart, you get out of your mind and do an invocation or an intention to say, hey, I want to really connect with my dragons. Because it's like angels. I feel that dragons are like angels. They can't really intervene unless you ask, or they will make themselves they will appear in certain ways. I always share that story that I was at the Total Wine and I was just getting familiarized with my dragons. And are you really even real? And then all of a sudden, a guy came in with 6 packs of like green dragons. That's what a coincidence. I just was in the car setting that intention, and then voila, I went to pay, and there they were. And that's how quick the energy is. The energy on the planet changes very, very quickly. So if you want to set that intention, Stanley, be very prepared for the dragon magic to whisper in your life, and they will come in, they will give you messages, they will manifest themselves, of course, very gentle in a very loving way, or maybe even through dreams, which is what happened.
Yeah, that's so amazing. And through art, I wanted to say they can come through in art as well.
Let's
Oops.
talk about that because let's go back to your art with the dragons. Let's talk a little bit about that and how people can benefit from this great gift of channeling art and dragons.
I feel, so where do I even start? Because going back to before I even knew that I was connecting with them, I felt like they were guiding me in a very subtle way until I was able to call them in. And they're different dragons. I feel like the creation dragon, the Sophia dragons, you can call them in and you can ask them, or your higher self dragon, you can ask them to guide you in your artwork, and they can assist you with the flow and the energy. And I feel like it's very much a surrender, a allowing of their energy that is within you to guide you in through the art, and setting intentions of what you want this artwork to hold, and that could be, it could be an energy that you want to bring in. It could be that you want to alchemize an energy, transmute it. And I feel like calling them in to assist you with your artwork can also, what it does for me, it helps me get out of my head and into my heart and create from a pure a pure creation, and then you sit back and you can observe it and let it set in with you, and then you can meditate on it and see what you're receiving from it. And because it's energy, it's not it's not it's a painting that is also a transmission,
Right, and what I like about
so it can
right, and
work.
what I like about that too is that it helps you get out of your head because sometimes,
Yeah.
when I teach classes on how to be clairvoyant or mediumship, and I think the number one theme that where people get a little stuck is you're in your head and you're asking yourself, is this for real? I think I'm going crazy. And, you start doubting yourself. But as you do the art, you're already in a creative process. So you really don't have that much time to overthink, which I think is what happens to people when they're starting to connect. You start overthinking and over doubting and over analyzing. And I also want to say that you do light language as well, which now, 20 years ago, light language was it was very, I would say, rare. Or now that we're more mainstream and we're more on our devices and social media, of course, everybody's kind of stepping up and sharing light language. So I would love for you to do a little demonstration and maybe just call in a little light language invocation. And maybe for those that are listening right here, whether you're driving or just listening to this particular episode and you're interested in calling in your dragons, maybe if you're open to it, Dina, this just came to me. They're kind of talking to me right now. Why don't we do a little invocation so that the dragons, you could start connecting with your dragons today. And you can save this episode, save it, forward it, and share. Remember, guys, just a little break here. It is through your patronage, your support, and your sharing, following, and subscribing that really helps the show. So, the shout out to everybody on the episode, on the different streaming podcast platforms, on my YouTube channel, and on social media. That's how we are staying connected in this 21st century. So, thank you much. But going back to your light language, Dina, let's go ahead and close our eyes and connect, and let's see what transmission.
Okay. Calling in my higher self and the higher selves of all those that are meant to receive this. Calling in the dragons of the highest order, the galactic dragons, the blue ray dragons, the violet flame dragons, the dragons that are here for the highest good of each person that's going to listen to this episode, that they receive what is in the highest good for them in this moment and any moment they come back to this transmission. From my heart to theirs, bringing to the highest frequency of love. Ika upura ano o esania katura ya sai kotura na ya kokai. Ishiya kotura na katura na katiachi. Tatatai nagania mukura na iana. Shana na ina na ya na. Usai haya ya. Musanaya Yesania. I'm getting that this was for the heart space, a softening and an opening and a clearing.
Oh, like Esha Lakin, that was so beautiful. I always go into a trance. So funny because I was traveling to Florida and I was on the ocean, and I usually have my dragon Shira, which is a shapeshifter dragon, and so he's always going different colors and whatnot, different elements in his skin. Sometimes is very, I would say, like a bird. It's very soft and ethereal. It almost seems like angelic. And but a water dragon came out of the water. I was doing a meditation, and a water dragon came out of the water, and it had a third eye diamond. It was a white dragon, and it had like a white third eye diamond shape, and then it just connected its forehead to mine. And I've been getting a lot of that connection, even with the Larian lions. Well, we could talk about that another day. So they will come in and whisper. They will come in and nudge you. They will come in and also help and assist and support and even protect. I love the energy. I just did an energy clearing at a property and invocation, and I gridded it. I gridded the land. There was like 17 acres, and then I put dragons in each direction from above and below, and I really felt so. That's also a way that you can call in the dragons, is for protection, because they are very powerful.
They are. I'm just starting to get into gridding lately. I've been wanting to learn more about gridding lately, and I've just been doing it intuitively and through the instruction. And I'm in a shamanic dragon priestess spiral. So I'm having this training for a year to start. I'm in year one.
Oh,
Uh,
that sounds
but
amazing. You'll have to definitely talk to us a little bit about that as well.
right now I'm going through and working with different dragons. I'm in a dragon spiral, and we're going through the different dragons, working with the different. It's like there's a dragon for each one of our chakras. And so right now I'm about to step into the one for doing ancestral clearing.
Oh, I like that.
And I started that yesterday. And then right away I started to do a drawing that worked. And so it's like the drawing of the codes and just intuitive drawing helps to anchor. And yeah, the shamanic dragon priestess, I've been feeling this connection with like the shamanic aspect of me and a priestess and dragon and this spiral that was created by Nicola. I met her through the Dragon Summit. And when I first saw it, I was like, I knew I wanted to do it, but I waited a whole year before I actually invested. And I'm so glad I did because I'm getting to go deeper with the dragons in my connection with them. And I think the journey about connecting with the dragons is that what I like to say is that it's unique to each person and it's going to happen and flow in the time that we allow. And sometimes we might not be focusing on them as much. And then because we're meant to focus on other aspects of our life or other aspects of other guides, and then we can always come back to them. But I do feel like they knock on our door also when it's time for us to really take that connection further because apparently I've been connecting with dragons for lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes. And apparently they were part of my life when I was a child, but I didn't know. And they were showing up in my artwork here and there. And I didn't know, like, it wasn't prevalent. So it wasn't until I was claiming that I wanted to make a change in my life and that I wanted to do some healing and create healing art. That is when the light language came in, and then that's when the dragon came in. It was really about a declaration of change.
And I think everybody's at a different time frame, and that's happened to me before where I've been, connected with the dragons, and then all of a sudden, for some reason, I get distracted with life, and then I'll something will happen. I'll be going through my jewelry, and I'll find my dragon bracelet, and then I'll be like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna put it on so that I'm more connected. Because we're distracted. I mean, we have, I don't know, 90,000 thoughts a day, and we're bombarded with work,
Yeah,
social
right.
media, and everybody's just in their heads, and everybody's if you're not consciously doing a routine where you're calling it in and practicing, and everything takes practice. So for those that want to channel dragons, you got to do it every day. Don't expect to just have like one sit down and boof, you're going to get 1,000 downloads. It doesn't work that way. It took me 5 years to feel comfortable to even talk about the dragons and to publicly come out and say, hey, I'm ready to do this, regardless of, because I do have besides that, I've been doing this for 35 years and I am spiritual medium psychic since I can remember, since 6 years old. But I also have my private, my life where I work, and then that whole, that whole energy of people, they're not into anything on the spiritual modality. And I had to break through that fear of, well, what if I just happen to come up on their feed? And they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, but wait a minute, I didn't know such and such was what? What do you mean she's channeling dragons?" So I had to really combat that fear and anxiety about what were people going to think. But then I realized that being connected to spirituality was a lot more important to me than what other people thought. And I just thought, I have a gift. I've been seeing them. They're communicating, and I'm not going to stop doing what I love because of what other people think. And it sounds easier said than done, but we both know that we've had
Yeah.
conversations where we're like, "Oh my God, are we ready to do this?" Or you have been more ready than me. And I do have to say that if you want to learn more, Dina does do workshops and classes. I would definitely stay tuned to her website and follow her. And even if you're into dragons, go on Dragon Thunder Summit, and that's like once a year, right?
Uh, oh, sorry. And the dragon ceremony group, the we hold I co-facilitate dragon ceremonies once a month usually, and they're usually posted on Facebook. But we have a group called Bringing the Dragon. So it really was created for people who were at all different levels of connecting with dragons to be able to find this place. So you know that you're not alone. Because honestly, when I first started connecting with dragons back in 2019, I felt really alone. I felt like, who am I going to share this?
Yeah, that's,
I and you know what's funny? I will tell you, this is something you never know who is into dragons until you bring it
that's right.
up. And let me tell you something. There are more people that are connected with dragons, and be brave, because you never know. Because I'm finding more people that are into dragons and love dragons than I ever thought, because I bring
Right, and I love that because it's true. I mean, and then people are like, "Oh my god, you're into dragons," and they get excited about
yes.
it, and they wanna know more, and "Oh, could you see a dragon? Are you seeing them in my field? Could you give me a message?" And everybody gets really excited about it.
Exactly. I feel like getting over that hump. Let me tell you, I was in the shower crying my eyes out, and I'm like, dragons, am I higher self? Like, am I really gonna do this? Am I gonna really speak dragon light language on public, on Facebook? For all these people, family could see me, work can see me, all this, right? I get out of the shower and I got an invitation to a Facebook group that was all about New Earth healing. And it was like, hey, here you go. Let's start with them. I got invited to different groups on Facebook where I could get comfortable speaking about the dragons, the light language. And I'll tell you, once you get on live, this is what I've learned. Once I get on live with the intention of being of service and bringing in the dragons, bringing the light language, it's like something clicked.
Right.
And I'm the version I'm the version of me that does not care. And I stopped caring because I know I'm of service. And now people just know, like, oh, there's Dragon
Yeah,
Dina.
yeah,
They just associate me with
I love
dragons,
that.
and it's Dina, the dragon girl. And but I feel like the dragons have helped me, and I think many other people, truly step into who they are. They've really helped me really step into the truth of who I am.
I love that, and I think you've been super helpful to many people, and I know you're doing art classes and you're online and we're doing our lives where we're just downloading, messages every 2 to 3 weeks just to kind of let everybody know where the dragons are or what they want to share. We did the 11/11 and then before that we did the full moon and in Libra, which was very powerful. And so, we're just inviting you to stay open with an open heart. And if you're vibrating with dragons, follow, share, talk about it. I would love for you to comment. I will be posting this video on YouTube as well. That's a new format. So, all of the videos and all the interviews will be video format, will be on YouTube. And then, of course, all the audio will be on the streaming podcast um, platform so you can stream it and listen to it in the car. Well, I feel, especially now, there's just so much energy and there's just so much love coming in from the dragons that are here to uplift humanity, especially with the last few years has been very difficult with the wars and just all the astrology we've gotten our asses kicked in the last couple of years. And this year was a year 9, a year of completion, a year of the snake, which is, in Chinese astrology. And then the year before that was the year of the dragon. I believe was the year of the
Yeah.
dragon. There's been a lot of clearing on the collective, and I think many are awakening. If you're a newbie and you want to know more about dragons, please reach out to Dina Fortune at Solely Dina on Instagram, and I'll put all the links down below so you can go to her website. And if you want to get a reading with her and find out who your dragons are, she is the go-to. I always call her my dragon queen because just amazing at giving you the messages that you need, and it's such loving. And then the art, she has her art. So if you want to support her in her art, you can buy her art. And I had commissioned her to do a dragon art piece for me, which was I have in my office. No, actually, it's in my room now in my meditation area where my altar is. And it's a friendly reminder to stay connected. because the dragons are ancestral, ancient star seed beings that have been here before humans were even on the planet, and they are magnificent energies, and they filled with love and light, and they have a lot of wisdom. So connect with your dragons, people. Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
Mm.
Well, this has been so fun.
Definitely.
Yeah, I love always having you on. Is there anything that you want to share about any projects or anything that you're doing where people might be able to get inspired to reach out?
Well, I have, well, this Sunday, my friend Maggie and I are co-creating, co-facilitating a healing event around the sister wound. So we have that this Sunday. So I don't know when this is going to get posted, but who knows? You never know. But I mean, as far as like maybe we'll do it again. But I'm also going to be doing in-person events, and I have some new. Like I've been doing these smaller ones, and I've been putting crystals in
Ooh, I
them
love that.
and light codes, and not all of my art is online. However, I do love offering Zoom
Mhm.
calls so that if anyone is interested in seeing my art, what I can do, we can schedule a Zoom call, we can talk, and I can intuitively pull out art out of my hundreds and hundreds of pieces of art
Yeah, no,
that
yeah, I did want to mention Dina and I potentially have a class scheduled
yes,
for next year after the holidays, and I
yeah,
said stay tuned. We were going to do that, and then we have some
yeah.
other fun projects that we're going to be working on. And, stay tuned to that. And any questions that you might have, definitely feel free to reach out to us once again, or email us, or if you have any questions one on one. I also do a 30-minute mentoring, free mentoring for those that
Oh,
want to connect with themselves, that want to. I'm going to be doing a class next year on how to connect more with your intuition. So, as well, please reach out. So, thank you so much, everybody, for your support once again. And we look forward to having you again. Maybe we can
thank you.
next year have another interview, and we can talk a little bit about the specific dragons and get a little bit more down into the nitty gritty of that. I think that would be really fun.
Yeah, definitely. I love that.
People,
Yeah.
I love you so
Thank you,
much. Thank
everyone.
you. Share this great video that I took on July 6th, my birthday in Italy, Tuscany. And when I came back, I saw this great image in the sky of what it looks like a dragon to me, and there was a thunderstorm behind it. It was pretty magical. I'm going to put a little background music for my brother Sachi Om. I dedicate this podcast to him and enjoy the video. It was quite a magical moment. In Lakesha Lakin.